Kawhi, please. Bruce?
Here, Kawhi, Bruce Arthur from the Toronto Star. How comfortable are you right now offensively and defensively, and how does it compare to how you've kind of felt the whole year?
I mean, pretty much feel the same as you had no idea coming down the stretch at the end of the season. And, I keep saying this, we just did a good job of putting a plan together to make sure that I'll be healthy at this point. But, I have no complaints right now.
Dave?
Kawhi, with 45 points tonight, you just became the second Raptor in team history to score 40-plus in a playoff game. Jordan, Vince, in your time in Toronto and seeing the way the fans revere Vince, or maybe if you have any recollection of him growing up, what does that accomplishment mean for you?
Man, it's great. It's an individual success, and it just shows how much hard work I put in from year one to now. But if you know me, I'm more of a guy that's looking for our team success, reaching the ultimate goal for my team, and this is what happens, I guess, if you just stay focused and you want your team to win. But that's all I'm focused on is winning, and came out with a good game tonight, making shots.
Michael, at the back. And
Kawhi, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Do you feel like you're at the level physically and in terms of your skill level and how you're playing that you were the last time you were in the playoffs in 2017 before you hurt your ankle? The numbers sort of say you're approaching that. Does it feel like that?
No. I mean, it's a totally different situation. I'm in a different environment. I'm just focused on it now. I don't think that way. I'm just thinking about the next game. And, tomorrow this is going to be erased. And we're starting back from scratch, 0-0. And we're going to have to try to come out and win game 2.
Josh?
Josh
Where'd you
Lindbergh,
rank?
TSN. Kawhi, when you guys have two players that are going offensively like you and Pascal were, specifically in that first quarter, how much are you guys feeding off of each other out there?
We're really taking our pride on defense, and I feel like it's letting our offense, come to play. And when you're so focused on defense, you just play on the offensive end. And I feel like that's been our success so far. Once again, we held a playoff team to under 100 points, and that's hard to do in the NBA today, especially the Sixer team with the talent that they have with all the shooters and Embiid's great player in the post. So just feel like our defense has been like the big part of what's going on.
Matthew, standing up and to your right.
Hey, Kawhi, CBC Radio Canada, Matthew Cullen. 2 Raptors in double figures tonight, you and Pascal. Just could you comment on how much you've seen his game grow with respect to you working with him together?
I mean, I said this before, he came out of nowhere. I mean, I seen it in training camp, seeing how skilled he was. I wasn't able to see his transition or, how he got better from his rookie year to last year because I was out. But, I seen it in training camp. He had a high skill level, played very hard, passionate about the game, and he just kept working throughout the season. And, he took those games and approached them every night with the same mindset. And, now you see this. You see what he's doing now, and it's magnified now because it's in the playoffs, and he's doing a great job.
Stephen?
Kawhi, Steve Brotherston, Pro B-Ball Report. Your team's been very good at transition offense all season. How important is pace of play to your offense to getting the team going?
I think, that's what our offense is. We play in transition, and then when we get in half court, we want to play fast, move the ball, just kind of be miscellaneous out there, setting back screens, getting pick and rolls, not knowing, who's going to get the shot. And like I said before, it's just our defense. Once we limit them to one shot, get a rebound, we're off to the races, and we're able to play our game.
Last couple questions. Sirat, down. Go ahead.
Sirat Sohi, Yahoo Sports. Kawhi, you came out of the game at around the 3-minute mark. Was there any desire to stay in and try to break your career high?
No, not at all. I was trying to get out the game before I even got to that point. We was up 20 points with probably like 5 minutes left, and I was already looking at the bench trying to get them to come, take me out the game. Like I said, this individual stuff it's not big on me. I mean, big for me to reach these goals. It's great when you do it and you could win, but my focus is every game trying to win the ball game. And, that's why we're playing this game. We're not playing so I could score 50 or get 40 points. We're all on this team and, trying to say Raptors win at the end of the day.
Thank you, everybody.
Let's take another look at the scoreboard from tonight's Game 1 in the second round between the Toronto Raptors and Philadelphia 76ers. Who you don't see, Jimmy Butler. He was 4 for 12 from the field, did have 5 assists, finished with 10 points. Here he is.
Jimmy, how did you feel like they were able to break up your offense or kind of slow down the types of sets that you guys were in once they got into their defense?
I think they're a tough team to go up against when our defense is set. We talked about it. I think all in all, we turned the ball over, so they got out in transition. And then whenever we take the ball out the net, they're set, We talked about what we're going to do. I don't think we did a good job of doing what we said we were going to do before the game.
This is the first time we've seen this team now with Marc Gasol. How have you felt like they've changed now with him, and what do you want to do moving forward in Game 2?
He's a really good player. They got a lot of them. I think we just got to really stick to what we said we were going to do. Like I said, he's tough. He can shoot it. He can pass it, put the ball on the floor. But we just got to be more aggressive with everybody on the defensive end.
Jimmy, you talk about being aggressive. It seemed like you guys didn't go to the basket enough and settled too many jumpers. Would that be a fair statement?
You take what the game give you a lot of the times. They're a team that rotates very heavily. We just missed some shots. That's okay. I think we're all fine with taking those exact same shots next game.
You guys, obviously, it's a different opponent.
Pascal Siakam, 22 points in the first half, new playoff career high for a half for him.
Or now. Maintenant.
OK. Pascal, Matthew Cullen de Radio-Canada. Qu'est-ce que ça vous a fait? Comment est-ce que ça change le jeu, la bloc de Kawhi Leonard, puis votre dunk, puis les 3 points de Danny Green, la prochaine possession? Comment est-ce que ça change le jeu?
Je pense que ça apporte l'énergie, bien sûr. En défense, essayer de jouer comme on l'a fait là, avec des stops décisifs que Kawhi a fait, Danny et tout le monde. Donc je pense que collectivement c'était très bien. On a eu de bonnes séquences en défense et on espère continuer comme ça.
Mike, on the left, halfway back.
Pascal, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. What was it like between you and Kawhi in that first quarter? I think you each went 7 of 9, each had 17 points. Were you aware that each of you were kind of just rolling that way? Was there any interaction between the two of you?
I saw what Kawhi was doing. It was unbelievable, and just getting to spots, making shots, driving. I don't know. I wasn't really like looking at myself. Like I saw what Kawhi did. I don't know if you saw what I did too. That's great, but I did. No, it was good. Like we had early, a lot of pace and try to play in transition and kind of take whatever the defense gives me and obviously if Kawhi is going off too, he's gonna get some attention and kind of open up the floor for me too. So.
Any other questions in English, please? Josh, down front.
How do you know it's in English?
I just guessed.
Josh Lewenberg, TSN. Pascal, for Game one, how much of it as a team and individually for you is about feeling out the other team and what their coverages are, how they're covering you?
Yeah, for sure, because we know, it's a long series. There's going to be a lot of changes and things, teams going to make adjustments. And I think, it's coming out just kind of staying true to who you are as a team and trying to execute. And obviously we know things are going to, there's going to be some changes and all that. But I think if we, stay within what we do and as a team and continue to build on that and kind of adjust, with whatever comes at us.
Stephen?
Pascal? Prior to the game, coaches were talking about how transition gets tougher to accomplish in the postseason. Just wondering, have you noticed it getting harder to run the floor and be successful at that aspect of your game through the playoffs?
For us? For me? I think I did a decent job, running the floor and kind of trying to keep that pace. It was kind of in the beginning of the game. It was kind of weird a little bit. We didn't come out as fast as we usually do, but I think we picked it up, and it was pretty consistent with the pace and playing fast because that's how we want to go up and down, and for me, I think I did a decent job. I mean, it was maybe a couple of possessions out there. I was a little tired, but for the most part, it was good.
Back to Matthew in French, and then we'll wrap up.
Encore une en français à Pascal ici. Vous travaillez très bien avec Kawhi Leonard, ça c'est sûr. Est-ce que vous avez vu Kawhi au niveau qu'on a vu ce soir?
Je pense que pour moi, c'est la première fois de le voir pendant les playoffs avec ce qu'il a fait aujourd'hui. Mais c'est vraiment impressionnant et pour nous, pour moi en plus, c'est juste de regarder ça et avoir la chance d'être là et pour voir ça, c'est vraiment impressionnant.
Mike, last one.
Mike Laviole, l'Express. Tu as dominé Tobias Harris ce soir des deux côtés du terrain. Pour le prochain match, que penses-tu que tu peux faire de plus face à lui?
Face à qui?
Tobias Harris.
Ouais, je pense que on était pas mal en tant qu'équipe et je pense qu'on a essayé de... Parce qu'en fait, quand tu arrives à ce niveau-là, c'est beaucoup de joueurs qui sont très talentueux et ça ne prend pas qu'une personne en fait. Donc ça prend un effort collectif et je pense qu'on a fait ce soir et on espère continuer comme ça. On sait que les prochains matchs ils vont venir avec plus d'intensité et essayer de faire des choses de manière un peu différente. Mais bon, pour nous, c'est continuer avec la même intensité, continuer à être focus et kind of like, I went to English a little bit, but sorry. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Pascal.
My bad, bro.
Time for Zero Quit, fueled by Gatorade Zero. And how about zero shot attempts on Kawhi Leonard?
Not on my watch.
With the block that Pascal Siakam. That's what we call a symbiotic relationship.
Ooh, well, big word, big word. Where you pull that from? Yeah, it's that UNC degree. Man, that was tight. Do it again.
Symbiotic,
Yeah,
they go together. Ron, that's what happens there. But those two, I mean, they were incredible in this game. In the first quarter, they were 14 from 18 combined from the field in the first quarter.
Well, it reminds me last year against Sixers and against Boston, what Tatum and Brown did to them. Those guys scored points, and that tell you Sixers didn't have length. These two guys were incredible, and I don't know if Philadelphia has an answer for them going forward because they just don't have the size.
Yeah, I thought they did a remarkable job of just imposing their will and having that sense of urgency from the beginning, the tip. Like you usually don't see Kawhi Leonard come out and take 8 to 9 shots in the first quarter, like this being super aggressive. And you don't see Siakam. Look, he was really searching for his opportunities, and they came at in spots because he was getting so much space, and he took a full advantage of it.
We were talking during the break about Kyle Lowry, and remember, he was the star of Toronto for years. And now you love to see a guy like this who's an older player understand, I'm just going to do my role, be the point guard. I don't have to take shots, rely on these other guys. A lot of guys, as they get older, don't do that. They get frustrated because, hey, this is my city, but he's developed into a guy as a point guard and let these other guys shine, which is kind of nice.
And the thing you want to look for in your point guard, assist-to-turnover ratio. Kyle Lowry, 8 assists, just 1 turnover, only took 10 shots, scored 9 points. So he didn't shoot it well, but like you said, he still contributed. And if Siakam's going to pick up the scoring load and Kawhi Leonard's going to do that as well, you don't really need Lowry to be a dominant scorer.
But what would that have resulted to in years of the past? If Kyle Lowry don't shoot the ball well, you
lose.
You lose. But now being a third, fourth option, and now you're the general, and you kind of just facilitate, put everybody in position. Now everything that you get, that's the cushion. You're playing with house money.
And for the Raptors, you look at their record, you know that was hovering over them after that Game 1 loss to the Orlando Magic in the last series at home, and 1-8 in playoff history in Game 1s at home. I mean, that's a terrible mark. To get this, you kind of get that monkey off your back a little bit, right?
You do, but now Philadelphia has that monkey still on their back because they've lost 13 in a row in Toronto. So you knew one of them was going to break tonight, and now Philadelphia, that's going to hang on to Toronto. I think they feel really good. The fans finally leave the building and say, we won Game 1. The players we won Game 1. Because if they'd have lost that first game, that's what everybody was talking about.
We're up in that count to 14 now, by the way.
Oh, 14, yes,
It's
14.
But I really do think it's going to come back to what GA touched on, which is the adjustments. And I said, who's the biggest swinger or who's the biggest player in this series? And he said, you know what? It's not the players, it's the coaches. It's going to come down to Nurse, Brett Brown, who make what necessary adjustment to put the guys in the best situation. And Joel Embiid said it in his postgame. Look, we have to make some adjustments, and it's going to come down to the coaching.
Well, that's a great point, because when you look at the Philadelphia 76ers and you hear something very subtle from Joel Embiid like that, you think, well, do those players respect and have confidence in their head coach? Where if you look at Nick Nurse and how the Raptors are reacting to their head coach, you think there's more respect for Nick Nurse in Toronto than there is Brett Brown in Philadelphia?
Well, good. Well, I think what happens is tomorrow, that first meeting, that's where the coaches, you got to give them something to give them hope if you're the Sixers. So you got to figure, this is what we're going to do. Maybe one or two things that's going to change it in our advantage. Nick Nurse now's got to go in and say, okay, we won, but if we got to clean these 2-3 things up, because it's still a 7-game series. So he can't sit back and relax, okay, we did everything great. He's got to also come with something different. Larry Brown, I worked for him. He always would put a new play in or something so the players in their mind say, okay, this is the difference going to help us win that next game.
I think anybody that, that's watching the game understand that if you have any type of basketball knowledge, what is the major adjustment that you throw at Toronto? Kawhi Leonard just had 45 points. So it's not going to be that easy for him just to navigate around. They're going to throw some things at him. So if you're Coach Nurse, you have to adjust and prepare for that. Okay, if they blitz, all right, we're going to have somebody high where you have an outlet pass. You're going to put Marc Gasol in the middle of the eyes so he's able to facilitate and exercise his right as one of the best passing big men in the history of this game to, facilitate. So, like, those adjustments. But if you're Brett Brown, you have to throw double teams at Kawhi Leonard in all facets because the players want that. Joel Embiid said that specifically, like, look, we got a double.
Well, sometimes I just feel like you understand how this program is developing because guess who we're going to hear from now? Who? Marc Gasol. Guy you just mentioned.
Man,
look at
come on, man.
Obviously, it's something that we must do. Be really engaged defensively. Against a very talented team, you have to. There's no other way for us to win. And I thought that we did a, pretty good job for stretches. I think at times too we got kind of lost and miscommunicated a lot of actions. We got to also do a better job rebounding when we get them to miss, and a little more mindful of what they're trying to accomplish and how they're trying to accomplish, and mindful of the ball as well and the timing and score. But obviously, when you have Kawhi and Pascal playing at that level offensively, covers up for a lot of the little mistakes that we had. But now watch film, get ready for game 2.
Mark, a
The last time I've seen Kawhi play that well in the playoffs was 2 years ago against the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is it nice to have him on your side in a game like this?
Well, it's nice that now he's knocked his career high against us. I mean, that team against the Grizzlies. Now, it's against somebody else, and I'm on his side. I like when he's assertive. I like when he goes, north-south. Yeah.
What do you think's been the biggest difference for him in the postseason? It does look like maybe he's pulled it into another gear here the last couple of weeks.
He's having that gear. We're going to put the ball in his hands a lot. We're going to create gaps in spacing. Set good screens for him, and he's a guy that is able to make those plays, and heck of a player.
You must be running out of nice things to say about Pascal. It seems like the longer the season goes, the further you go, the better he gets.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good, poised. You have to do a good job early on in the game, getting good shots. I think that kind of allows him, to take it to that level and get confident, get going, and get in a rhythm. So it's a matter of kind of Kyle and myself with the first unit to get Pascal those good shots at the basket. If it's either face up or back down or off the rip, getting good looks.
They got within 4 early third quarter when JJ had all those threes. What's being said in the timeout at that point? Is there anything you guys are specifically trying to remind yourselves about, or is it just very calm?
Just being more mindful.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plays I was talking about just now. Be more mindful of what they're trying to accomplish with plays and time and score and those sort of things. So I think we did a pretty good job though of solving that issue and finishing possession with rebounds after that. I think they had 14 or 16 second chance points. When I looked up, we got to cut those down.
Going back to that game against the Grizzlies that Kawhi had, how would you compare and contrast that version of the game?
It's a different scenario. Now I'm on the other side. I'm not comparing, that game when I'm trying to beat him on this game that I'm trying to help him. It's impossible to compare.
Mark, you guys had neutralized Embiid pretty well. How would you feel about that at all?
It's game one. You're trying to make it it's kind of the same thing over and over again. I don't like repeating myself much. You just try to stay in front of them, be physical, contest his shots, box out. It's pretty. It's hard.
He can beat a lot of people off his dribble, but he hasn't been able to do that to you. Why do you think that is the case?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he'll try. I think it's hard with some of the guards. You got to be up higher because they especially with JJ as a big, you got to be high and helping the guard coming over. He does a good job of keeping with that ball, especially on the left hand, and he's a really good player.
Kawhi Leonard's post-game interview was just one question, but we're hoping to hear more from him next on Game Time Live.